Good afternoon. Here we are. It is Thursday already. I don't know about you, but one would think, being this confined, that time would fly. But for me, it's really, one would think it wouldn't fly, but for me it is flying because I'm keeping myself real busy. Are you? Well, I guess we'll soon see. I know I'm a little late today. I had a very interesting adventure. The first thing I did was I was trying to set everything up, and I was trying to be on time, and the camera wouldn't work, and then I was plugging in to make sure I wouldn't lose it, and then it fell over, it fell off the table, and then I was trying to set that up, and then the phone fell off the table. Now, I was told last night that I could flip my screen and I wouldn't have the backward effect. So whether you're getting the backward effect or not, I don't know. And if anybody knows how to flip the screen, let me know, because I'm wondering. I'm just going to straighten up my my camera a little, because you know I got my backup, and it did start working again. It's just a little off, just like me sometimes, a little off. Now I'm a little off the other way. That makes me think of cutting my bangs. Did you ever cut your bangs when you were a kid? And you start off like this, then you look at them and they're cockeyed, and then you go, okay, and you do this, and then they're cockeyed the other way, and then next thing you know it, you got this little tiny fringe up next to your scalp. Well, I did that more than once. As we get started today, I would like to check in and ask you, are you present? Are you here? Are you here with your mind? Are you here with, are you consciously here? Or are you thinking about, I shouldn't be taking time to do this because there's other things I need to get done? You can let go of that, and you can just enjoy the time we have together today. And so then, since we're affirming that you are present, whether it appears you're present or not, I'd like to, first of all, start off, what are you wearing? I am today wearing a shirt that my friend bought for me when we went to the Golden Nugget in Louisiana. My friend Kim, my bestie out there in Texas, and we went to the Golden Nugget out at Lake Charles, and she bought me this shirt, and I loved it. She got one for each of us, and one day I was thinking, man, I wish I'd have gotten another one. I sure would like to have two of these, because I use them for jazzercise, and they feel really good, they wash good, they're just wonderful. And would you believe, like that week, she gave me hers. She said, I want you to have this because I really don't wear it that much. And I'm like, oh my God. So I thought I wanted to, you know, the thing about thoughts held in mind, and I thought about how much I love this shirt, and I actually attracted it to me. We're going to talk about that more as we go along, about the things that we can attract to us. And the second reason I wore this shirt today is because it's from the Golden Nugget. First of all, I hope I'm giving you golden nuggets every day to kind of help make your life better. And the second thing is it's about gambling. It's like anything else. Things, sometimes you've got to take chances. Sometimes it's not so smart to take chances. I'm going to let you figure out when you should take a chance and when you shouldn't take a chance. One of those things is we have the ability to reason. Most of us do. And because of the ability to reason, we can figure things out. So you might want to discern, should I gamble, should I not gamble? I mean, it's fun, because getting something for nothing isn't fun unless you're giving something for nothing, which is definitely not fun. So I have a way that I handle that. I like to play blackjack, and I like to play poker. But if you go to a casino, I am sorry, I cannot pay the prices they charge. It's not that I can't. I don't want to. I don't want to risk it. How big a risk are we taking? So I don't risk if I don't have to. So I want to play, but I don't want to lose a lot. So what do? $20 and the slot machines, and when it's gone, it's gone. And if I get money back, I get money back. But that needs to have some real discipline. So you want to ask yourself, do I have the discipline for that risk? Then there are the life risks that you want to take, that are smart. And what keeps you from doing it? I have a very favorite book that I would like to recommend to you. And you know what? It is a perfect book for the circumstances we're in. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's a skinny book, a little tiny skinny book. You can probably read it in a couple of hours with a cup of tea. Try it. You'll like it. You can probably get it on Amazon. You can probably even get it on Audible. But it's just a great book. But one of the things in there says, what would I do if I were not afraid? What would you do if you were not afraid? What are you thinking? Do you have some ideas about something you wanted to do, but you've been afraid? If it's not an unwise gamble, I encourage you to gamble, to do it. And that brings me to the things we've been talking about the past 2 weeks and a day now. Marked it on the calendar, 2 weeks and a day. Hair's getting a little wonky. Anyway, I want to just go back a little bit and, we talked about the importance of gratitude, making a gratitude list. What are you grateful for and why? The more we focus on what we are grateful for, the less we worry about other things. And as we are grateful for something, there is the attracting power of mind. Believe me, it's called the law of attraction. And we can attract positively or negatively depending on where our thoughts are. So I'm going to begin, talk about it more later. Are you grateful? Did you start a gratitude list? If you didn't, why? Do you really have something more important to do? Now, I'm not saying any of this like so you can go and pack up for a guilt trip. We don't want any guilt trips. We don't need them. What I'm hoping to do is instill in you, inspire you with a great idea for coming through our experience successfully. Next, who are you checking in on? Are you checking in on somebody? Who are you reaching out to? Who are you communicating with? Are you sitting pouting because nobody's checking in with you? So, check in with somebody. There's plenty of people you can check in. The other thing is, how are you dealing with normal? It's a really funny thing. If someone told you you were average, would you want to hear that? I'm average? I'm only average? But you want to be normal, don't you? Isn't kind of normal and average the same thing? We are not ordinary. We are extraordinary, because no matter how many things we may have in common with others, in truth, we are each and every one of us an original. So, who are we checking in with? How are we dealing with normal? Have you come to terms with the things that are no longer normal? What things did you do on a normal day that you are not able to do today? How can you come to terms with that? Because you can. And I'll say it again. I say it almost every day. We are not talking about being in a new normal. Regular normal is good enough for regular times. This is not regular times. So therefore, we are not making a new normal. This is our current experience. And one day, we'll be back to whatever. You know what? Do you think we'll ever be back to what we called normal? I think when we come out of this, that will be our new normal. So if you're having troubles dealing, I invite you to let that go and go with your current experience. When you are on vacation or at a retreat, which is what I invite you to consider this, that's not normal, and we don't call it our new normal. We call it where we are right then. Okay, next. Are you getting outside? Are you absorbing, if at all possible, nature, sunlight, vitamin D? It doesn't take a lot of time in the sun and the daylight. Actually, that daylight, that vitamin D is coming through whether the sun's out or not. So are we going out and are we absorbing some vitamin D? Think about that. Are we moving our body? Are you moving your body? We can't usually move our body when we're binge watching something on television. I jazzercise. And it's so good. You know, I think I'm getting to jazzercise more since this started than I did when I was going to jazzercise. Well, you know, there I had to get in the car, drive 12 miles, do jazzercise, drive back 12 miles. So it kind of took a 2-hour chunk of my day for a one hour class. I'll be very happy to go back to it when I can. But for right now, I'm exercising with jazzercise on demand, which our jazzercise headquarters gave the members 60 days for during this. And I also, our class found out how to do jazzercise online, so I go in and believe me, I work up a sweat. Have you worked up a sweat? Can you work up a sweat? Can you find a way to work up a sweat? Our leader, our fearless leader, posts her push-ups every day. So I thought I was going to be funny and post a push-up, and that's what I got in me, is one push-up. It doesn't matter. Move your body. There's so many ways you can move your body. You can dance. You can do all kinds of things. How about moving your vocal cords? Well, if you don't have anybody to talk to yourself. Just don't make a habit of it. Because when you're done and you go back to the other world, they'll probably look at you funny if you... But you know what I say? If there was an old saying back, my mom used to say it a lot, people that talk to themselves have money in the bank. So if you start talking to yourself, maybe that means you've got money in the bank. I think that's pretty exciting. The other thing to use your vocal cords for is to sing. I'm going to talk about that another day because it just popped into my head and I don't want to go off track. I'm trying to stay on track today. The last one. What are you creating? What are you creating? In the past 2 weeks, what have you created? Because if you haven't created anything, you're actually missing out. Because this is your chance to get those creative juices flowing. Do something. I'm doing videos. And those of you that have been watching all along know how much I've learned as I stand here with a camera and a phone trying to find a way to make these videos work. It's pretty exciting. And I have come out of it really, really having to exercise my brain to lose the new things. So I use my voice, I use my brain, I'm exercising both of those, and I exercise my body. Now, the other good exercise is spiritual exercises, and you don't have to move your body for that. but you can, because there's many hand movements, there's spiritual dance, there's yoga. So there's so many ways we can exercise, and we keep saying, I don't have time, I don't have time. We are in a present moment. And within this present moment, there is amazing possibilities. Every second is filled with a possibility. Remember we talked about the clock yesterday and how you spend your time? And I invite you to know that how you spend your time will reflect on what happens when this is over. So we've been looking, there's three things we want to look at today. That is the past, the present, and the future. And we remember, every day is a gift. That's why we call it the present. Are you going to open your present today? Are you going to just put it in a closet where you may never see it again? I think you'd be happier if you take the present, take this great present moment, and use it well. One of the ways we can use it well right now is to, in our meditation, so we can go inward and we can reflect about the things we want to change in life, the way we want to grow, how we can find inner peace. So much can be done in there. So when we're in our present and we're exploring, we explore the past, it's a wonderful thing to see what lessons you've learned, what lessons you want to learn. Then we can take our mind into the present and ask, are we learning? Here's the best part. We take our mind into the future. That's been hard for us, hasn't it? Because we don't know what the future holds. I don't know. Do you know? I know it's going to be good, because God is good, and God's will for us is good and only good, even in the midst of what doesn't appear good at all, if we want to learn our lessons. It's not about punishment, it's about growth. Growth as a person, growth as a spiritual being. I'm going to show you right now, we're going to do an experiment. You want to do an experiment with me? Yay, hit the like button. Yay, I want to do an experiment with you. I'm going to show you how fast you can change your mind. I'm going to show you how you can have a paradigm shift in an instant. Okay? All right, maybe you've been stressing out about how long is this going to last. So, if you are comfortable, close your eyes. The reason I suggest you close your eyes is it blocks out any distractions. And think for a second about how you feel about time and not knowing the future. We're in a dark tunnel. We can't even, the tunnel curves from right to left and up and down, and we don't see that light at the end of the tunnel. There's nothing visible. Does it feel kind of depressing? Now I invite you to change the scene. I invite you to see before you an hourglass. And the sand is running through the hourglass from what we're going through to when it's over. And you think to yourself, oh my goodness, all the things I was going to do with this time, my time is running out. I better get cracking. End of experiment. I hope you got something out of there. How do you feel about that? What if we went from, this is going on like an eternity, it seems like it's never going to end until, wait a minute, this could be over at any moment. I've got this precious time to myself. Or, I've got this precious time with my family who has finally all gotten together in one place. Think about it. change your mind, you change the way you think, you change everything. So how are we going to keep this wonderful vision of time is running out, that we best use it best in a positive way? How can we shape our future here in the present if we can't even go anywhere or do anything? But I have the answer. The one thing you do, you start off by visualizing. Talking about the creative power of the mind. What do you want to do when this is over? What things have you been putting off that now you will be free to do? Get some ideas. The one thing that keeps coming up in my mind is road trip. I miss those road trips. So I can plan a road trip. I can plan it in detail. Remember when we were talking about the treasure map? I can make a treasure map of my plan. I can go online and find pictures and links to things I want to do. I can make a virtual treasure chest. I can make it right online and put those little links in there so that I can just, when I'm ready to travel, bang, bang, I'm ready to go. So we visualize, what do we want to do when we're out of here? And then we start to plan. And then we start to solidify our plan. We connect our thoughts and our feelings. Remember, the thoughts we hold in our hearts manifest in the world, for better or worse. Think about this. Haven't we said to ourselves all the time, I don't have enough time? But we do now. But if we spend however long it is we're going to be at home, if we spend that thinking about, this time is this isn't working, and time is not a good thing, this is going to go on forever, that when we get out, we're going to find we wasted however long it was. God, I don't want to have that. One of the worst pains in the world is regret. We don't want to do anything we're going to regret. Think on that. There is a program called the 4 T's of Prosperity. Now, while this talks about prosperity and money, I would like to translate that to our everyday lives in our current confinement. The 4 T's are time, talent, treasure. Oh Lord, I've had a brainwave here. Time, time, talent, treasure. I think it's tithing, but I thought treasure was tithing. Anyway, let's look at some T's. We have the time, which we will therefore invest. We're going to invest our time, okay? We have talent. And so we are going to invest our talent through our planning and everything. Now, we may not think we have treasure, but we do have treasure. Every day we have an unlimited supply of divine ideas. Through the power of our minds, we attract, whether it's good ideas or bad ideas. And I have a not so pleasant experience that I would like to share about negative thoughts attracting more negative thoughts. Yesterday was April Fool's Day, and most of us certainly were not into playing April Fools. Well, somebody decided to play an April Fool's prank on me. It was a very cruel prank. It was a prank that involved me to go back and to experience the pain of the loss of my granddaughter, Sammy. There's no need to go into it except that I received this message, and then I started to think about who would send me this kind of a message. Why would they send me this kind of message? What were they thinking? Is there something I don't know? Is there something I have to figure out? And all of these things came into my mind and dragged me down and took up precious hours of my time working through what was probably just a mean April Fool's Day prank. Now, in the process of trying to figure out what was going on, I realized that there was a connection in the person I received the message from and another person who I happen to don't know but know of. And that person is very young and very not wise. And it was I said, like, I let my thoughts take me down the road, off of my track, off of my growth, into the mind of a teenager, okay? You know what? Being human just sucks sometimes. It's just not easy. But when I realized it, the faster I could let go of it, the better. So think about that with yourself. If you get snagged into something, as fast as you can, process it and release it. And as my friend Emily used to say, cancel and erase. Love, love, love. Cancel and erase. Love, love, love. So I let that go. I certainly wasn't going to waste any more time on a teenager's thoughtless April Fool's prank. So the same way, this is why I'm telling you to visualize the future, to plan for the future. And as you're planning, you are aligning your thoughts with what you want. So do that. Align your thoughts with the outcome you want. There's other things you can do. And the minute that this is over, chances are we're going, hopefully, not to go back to the high-speed chase that our lives have become. Hopefully we will realize more of what's important and spend more time with that. But chances are, whatever we're doing, we're going to be off and on the run. So, what if you are preparing for the future? For example, when you are out and about, what if you, when you were cooking, what if you made extra, if you've got a freezer, and put it in the freezer? So when this is over and you start running around like a chicken, there's going to be dinner in the freezer. All you do is thaw it. I've been doing that because I know pretty soon we're going to be having camping season in full swing. We're just knowing it won't take till long for that to happen. And when camping season hits, boy, I'm really busy because I am the campground storyteller. I write stories, which I go around the campground in the evenings, and I sit by the campfire, and I read my stories to my to the campers. So that's one thing I do. I work in the office. I do any number of things. So I'm pretty much on the run. So you know that this precious time I have right now is really good. And the more I prepare, how do I prepare? Write new stories. I am cooking, and I am very fortunate to have plenty to work with. It's getting lean right now, but I've got a grocery order coming tomorrow, next day, day after tomorrow, and I'm going to have to be ready to really, unpack all those groceries, and now we have to unpack them in a new way for the moment. We have to disinfect everything that comes in and soak and wipe down, and so it's going to take a while. But what I've been doing is cooking and putting food in the campground refrigerator freezer. That way, I know that when my sister and I get really cranking during the summer and we don't have time to fix lunch, and you don't want to spend money you don't have to going out, we'll be able to reach into the freezer and take out some enchilada sauce and tortillas, or chili, or spaghetti sauce, or vegetarian stew, or whatever. So what if you were doing that? Focusing on the future, creating the future while you feel stuck in the present. You're not really stuck. Greatest way to spend your time in getting out of here is planning for the good future when it's done. You may notice something. Again, we're talking a lot about the power of the mind today. I have found this to be true, and you might want to write this one down because you might want to take it and look at it over and over during the coming days. Whenever we declare something for ourselves, all that is unlike it comes up for healing. Even what we're experiencing right now. We have probably declared that we want to save the planet. We've probably declared that we want prosperity. We've probably declared that, we want people to get along. And we want peace. World peace is the word of the day for in the Unity Daily Word. So we want all these things to manifest. But if we've got issues that block them from us, if we don't heal those, it's not going to happen. Of course I have a new perfect example of what that is. I got on the scale the other day. I said how much. I don't have to tell you. Again, I told you the other day. I'm not going to repeat it. And I saw my weight, and I said, well, that's not going in the direction I wanted. And I went back to one of my books that I was reading. It's the DASH diet, because I'm working with my blood pressure. So I opened the book, and I had written in it. And I think I bought the book like 7-8 years ago. And I looked at it, and oh my stars, my book said I weighed exactly what I weigh today. And that was before I lost a lot of weight, good weight. It's not about how you look. It's about health for me. It's about health. It's better for my blood pressure. But so this is what happens. So it says everything that's unlike it comes up for healing. Well, I was dealing with that nasty April Fool's prank, and my sister called me, and she said, Donald is going to go to do the pickup from Village Pizza. So we were wondering if you wanted anything. Okay, quandary. I want to support Village Pizza. And I want to get to my desired target health. So I said, yes! What I had to look at is, how am I going to deal with I declared one thing, and what I just did doesn't support that one thing. So what I did is I remembered what I'm doing it for right now is to support the local restaurants who are trying to stay afloat while we're going through this. And I don't have to eat it all now. So I ate a little bit of the pizza, put the rest, where'd I put it? In the freezer. So another day, when I need it, there it will be, okay? Whenever we declare something to be true, anything that is unlike it comes up for healing. If we declare we're going to have a healthy bank account, you probably can count on the fact that something's going to happen and maybe an unexpected bill is coming in. That's not to keep your prosperity from you. It's like lifting weights at the gym. It's a way of saying, okay, let's give this faith a lift. Yes, you just got a bill, and yes, you just declared that you're into prospering, okay? So you have to, oh, I just figured out that fourth T. Sometimes they just come in. Anyway, okay, I lost, okay, so you're just exercising. So if you declare you're going to get along with your husband, your wife, your whoever that you're having issues with, chances are there's going to be a door open to have an argument. That is your opportunity to rise above it. It is about, the earth, the greatest Planet Fitness. We are on Planet Fitness. We have to accept it. I'm going to just go back real quick and revisit the 4 T's. The 4 T's are tithing, time, talent, and treasure. So we talked about time. We have to give our desires our time. We have talent. God gave us talent. Put it to use. God gave us treasure, divine ideas. Use them. And then tithing. Tithing is a word people hate. And that means you're supporting your spiritual source. Whatever it is, you support your spiritual source. I think we should support everything we want to grow. If you want something to grow, you fertilize it. So with your church, your clergy person, whoever, whatever is blessing you, whatever is your source of good, tithe to it. I don't have a brick and mortar church anymore. I'm retired from that, and you are right now. I have a weekly meeting message I put out on the internet. I even do ministry around the campground when people need someone to talk to and stuff like that. But everybody that goes to that brick and mortar church wants to make sure that it's attractive, it's warm in the winter, it's cool in the summer, it has beautiful grounds if possible, that it has an experienced, gifted, inspirational, trained minister. So we want all these things, and a lot of people will put $2 in the basket. Well, if $2 is the best you can do, that is always well received. But if people devalue church when they could give more, and they only give a couple of things. So I just encourage you, wherever you're getting your spiritual food, support them. If you can only do a little, do a little. If you can do a lot, do a lot. So how does that apply to your life and 4 T's? How do you tithe to your dreams? So tithing, if you're just looking at your own personal, don't look at it spiritual or religious. Just look at it. What your tithing is fertilizing whatever dream you have, okay? So start a fund now. If that fund consists of the money that you get from turning in cans at the grocery store, hey, that can be your fund, your first steps in a trip around the world. We're going to talk more about prosperity tomorrow, but that's not today's topic. I want to tell you one more story about attracting good through love. I read a book once. I love this book. It changed my life. I don't even remember great portions of it, but I got 2 things out of it that were more important, that made having the book worthwhile. And the first one is that we are all one. We're all one. Doesn't matter what country you live in, doesn't matter what color, what race, what lifestyle, whatever. We're all one. And we cannot undo that. The second thing is, and this is the most important thing I'm going to say today, we are in a birthing process. We are giving birth to our future. Our future as a person, our future as a world. We are in a birthing process. And she said, that process can be like a Lamaze birth. Breathe and push. Breathe and push. But if we don't live the knowledge that we're all one, it will be like a breach. Very painful. And if you never talked to anybody who had a breech birth, let me tell you, you don't want it. I thank God didn't. But I will tell you that when the baby comes out butt first instead of head first, it's very, very painful and it's very, very dangerous. So, how can you help birth your new life and our future more like Lamaze than like a breach? Just think on that. Well, that's about it for today, and I thank you so much for being with me, and I pray that in some way I have blessed you, and remember